You could be right and I could be wrong. We could just fight or we could...
This is Bridge the Gap, the program that seeks for the truth no matter where it is found. I'm Mark.
And I'm David.
Seriously.
He's already got plans for you.
Okay, well, I'm glad somebody does. Well, tell me what you think, Mark. Are you okay with, let's talk about all the spiritual experiences you've had. The dark, the light, I don't know. You tell me, but like...
Sure. You want to do that?
Sure.
Adam, this is your interview. We had kind of left off that conversation with Cindy where you had concluded, I need to do a walkabout. Remember that?
Yeah. And it's at that point, Fridays, right around the corner.
Yeah. And then you got on the internet and you ordered a drum and
I did.
a didgeridoo.
I did.
And you get it in the mail.
And why a didgeridoo? I'm just curious.
Yeah.
Just because it's just one of those sounds that resonates with me. You know what I mean? I hear it. It just does something to my inner self. It just puts me in a good place.
That's
when
awesome.
I hear it. It's like I bought a buffalo drum too, and I mean the didgeridoo is going to take some time to play. You got to learn how to circular breathe and do all this stuff and code it and treat it in a certain way. But I did. I bought those things because I were hoping they would just be tools that I could use to. I have used the drum. But, at the same time I'm using it, it's like, who am I bothering? I'm outside or the neighbor's listening going, oh, my gosh, there's that guy again. Or if I'm in the house, does Mark hear me when he's on a phone call with work?
Right.
Cindy comes in. She makes fun of me about it all the time. But I was hoping at the same time, that maybe Isaac will pick up something,
Mm-hmm.
But, it was more, selfish reasons, more for my benefit, to bring, let that peace resonate in me,
Bring your spirit back out.
Yeah.
Like, get your spirit, taking control.
Yeah, and I didn't just order it willy-nilly. I've listened to it, so I have personal experience with it. And then I also researched it and found that certain beats per minute, certain vibrational noises at certain hertz actually do produce a certain euphoria, produce endorphins,
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
Increases your activity, your brain activity and things like that, and will help with struggles that I'm going through. So.
Didn't you say that a certain one level or whatever is like vibrations and then the other level is like light or whatever?
Yeah.
Weren't we talking about that?
Harmonics and energy. We were having I'm sorry.
No, we've talked
having
about the same stuff too.
Yeah, a conversation about how perhaps, this is all theoretical for what people want to accept or believe. That's a personal business. But in a telestial world kingdom, things are more physical in nature. Chemicals are what help heal our bodies. It's what a lot of doctors use in the Western world medicine.
Right.
But in a terrestrial world environment, it's more energy based. And so healing takes place from vibration and harmonics and things like that, so that bodies can spontaneously heal without injecting drugs.
No, absolutely. If you look back through the history, a lot of people don't talk about it. You got to dig it up. But, a lot of people that lived, 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 years ago that we consider, our ancestors or whatever, used drums, used chanting to heal people. And it worked. It was effective. They'd use nature, natural ingredients, plants and things like that, along with it, ointments and things like that. But they'd also, chanting and like a shamanic drum beat were key to people healing, disease, injuries. And it makes a difference. I had a professor at Idaho State University that wrote a book called Accepting Your Pain. And this was 20 years ago. And, he'd written a book about this same thing, vibrational tones, things like that. Tesla talks about it. If you want to reach the secrets of the universe, use sound. And I think harmonics are a definite healing mechanism that's not explored enough. But there's a lot of people out there that accept it as, valid theory. It's a legitimate theory.
Mm-hmm.
Still theory, though, in a lot of people's minds. But I know it works. I've seen it happen with myself.
Well, yeah, music in a way, right?
Mm-hmm.
100%.
Yep.
And I'm sure there's people out there that would swear by that. And our question is, what is truth?
Mm-hmm.
So, Adam, why did you want to go on a walkabout?
I don't know. I just had this overwhelming feeling for a long time, and it wasn't so overwhelming, but I've had this thought, in my mind for a long time, a lot of years, that I needed to do that to just kind of get away from the noise. I don't mess around with a lot of social media or things like that. I'm not, really inundated in modern society as much as most people. But what little noise I am involved with is too much right now. It has been for a long time. So I just want to get away from it. And I feel like if I do that, then I'll give myself an opportunity to be open to gaining some insight into my purpose here, through prayer, through meditation, through contemplation, away from everything, away from cars, phones, the internet, things like that, just get away from it all. People say get away from it all, and no, I don't want to fish. I just want to think.
I love it.
And you said too that it was to quiet your mind because you have a hard time being plagued by bad dreams
all the time, every night. And
you're hoping that if you can get one with nature, maybe you could break away from that.
Or else find some tools, within myself, that when it does happen, that I can utilize, I can implement those tools and take an active role in a more active role in combating, my turmoil, my whirlwind of emotions and depression and insignificance in the world,
Maybe this is a good opportunity to kind of segue into your dreams.
Yeah, well, my dreams are always changing. I've done a lot of research into dreams. I'm not an expert or anything, but they can be anything from people say that it's just they're stress induced. Other people say that they're because you have unsettled business. Whatever. They have all these theories, and if you see this in your dream, it means this or that. And I really don't buy into that. I buy into the fact that this is kind of out there, but I see dreams as it's hard to put, alternate realities, I guess, for lack of a better term. I see myself in the dreams all the time, and I see the people that I'm engaged with on a day-to-day basis, or have been at some point, but everything's always different. It's a different situation, it's a different scenario, it's a different setting, and people who study or who spend their professions, dealing with people with, in the dream world, some, say that you're experiencing different realities. And I think maybe in a sense I am, because we don't understand our brains, right? We use 10% of it and we don't know anything else about it, what little we know. And I don't so much ascribe to that, but it does make more sense than the other things. It's like, or they're set there. The other thing is they're also there to scare us or inspire us, right? So like the Walkabout. So I've been wanting to do the Walkabout for a while. And as soon as I started talking about it, as soon as I started mentioning it to Mark or Cindy, I had a nightmare about it. Remember I told you about the Walkabout in the middle of my nightmare scenarios. And I went on my Walkabout. I went up to the place I wanted to go. In my dream, it was a plateau down in southern Utah. And in the dream, I just launched myself off the cliff, killed myself. And so that told me a couple of things, that I'm supposed to go.
On the Walkabout?
On the Walkabout. The dream was sent there by the adversary to prevent me from going. And I have reservations about going. I expressed some of those to you today about my health. How am I going to deal with the heat, in my condition? What if something happens? So I'm having all these reservations that are just now, as we're getting to that day, show up. I'm like, oh, well, money, gosh, I can't afford to go. I can't do this. I don't have the necessary things, but I do.
And for the listeners' benefit, today is Tuesday night, and the date for the Walkabout was Friday.
Yeah, the 2nd.
So, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, that's all right. I was just saying, I have these, and my scenarios, my nightmare scenarios are always nightmares, right? My dreams are always nightmare scenarios, I should say. But sometimes they're applicable to something that's happening or going to happen. And this particular Walkabout, I have had a couple of dreams about it. I had another dream about being stopped before I got there by someone. I could never see or make out, but I couldn't go up to the spot that I needed to go up to because someone was blocking my way. So I had that dream as well, just 3 nights ago. And there was nothing I could do to pass them. There's nothing I could do to get around. And I was stuck. So I keep having these dreams saying, don't go, don't go. You're just going to lose your mind and kill yourself. Someone's going to stop you from going. But then at the same time, this has been years that I've been feeling like I need to do this, that I need to take that journey.
Yeah.
It's kind of a leap of faith for me.
While you were telling me all these things, we were just having various discussions back and forth, and an experience came to mind that I had in 2002 about Wendell. That's it for this episode of Bridge the Gap.
Truth seekers,